In this question, we are required to get the derivative of f of x equals to cos x from first principles, and this is from GCE exams. In our previous video, we look at a similar question, and that is derivative of sine x from also past principles, and the link is in the description below. After here, you can watch that video. And that was from Cambridge International Examination. So using the same techniques here, we're going to use the definition of limit to have the derivative of this function. If we have f of x, and this is equivalent to limits as h tends to 0 of certain function f, and we increase by small increment h, we have to subtract away the original function and we divide everything by h. So from this formula, we can now go ahead and use our cos x. We know very well that the derivative of cos x as the standard derivative is negative sine x. Now here we're required to show. And before you proceed, if you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and it's 1 second to subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's move on, and we have our derivative. Here is this notation representing derivative. So we're going to have limit as h tends to 0 of cos. So this cos is having x, and we will increase by small increment h, subtracting away the original function, and that is cos x. So we divide everything by h. So at this stage, we need to go on and test whether when h tends to 0 will yield for us something. Now we know when we place here 0 at the denominator, then of course we are not allowed to divide something by 0. We can test this using a calculator and say if we have any number like maybe saying 6 and we're dividing this by 0, what happens? So immediately you will get an alert saying maths error. And this math error is not good. So what we can do here is to dodge this. What do we do? Let's take a look at this angle here, and our angle is x plus h, and we can say this one will be c, representing our angle. Now for x is the next angle here, and we'll have d representing our x. So when you take a denominator, then we have a trigonometry function where we can derive some identity. Let's write this reduction formula down here, and we have cos, and where is this cos coming from? From what we see here, and that is cos of angle C. Then we have subtraction, and we have cos of the angle D. So this is equivalent to negative 2 sine of the sum of this angle, that is C, plus d divided by 2. Then we multiply this by sine of the same angle, but this time we're subtracting c minus d divided by 2. So we are reducing this expression here from 2 terms to 1 term, and that is why I call it a reduction formula. Then let's move on and implement here. Instead of having 2 terms, we're going to use this expression to make that. Therefore, we're going to have here the derivative of f of x is going to be limits as h tends to 0 of. Now this time we're going to write our negative 2 near here, and this is sine. The angle, remember, is x plus h representing c, and we have here our x plus h, and we're adding our d, and d is this angle x. To get the average, we'll divide everything by 2. And then let's move on to the next one here, and that is sine of. So angle C is the same as x plus h minus angle D, and that is h. And we divide this by also 2. Then the whole thing is divided by h. So we can close our curly bracket. Now the next thing is to make simplification of this, and we know if we add x and x, we get 2x divided by 2, we just get only x, and h divided by 2. That is when we distribute this denominator to x and h. Here, x will cancel since we have positive and negative, and we shall have only x over 2. So let's go ahead and put that down, and we have our derivative of our function in the limits of as h tends to 0 of, we have still our negative 2 sine of, now this has reduced to x plus h over 2, and we multiply this by the second angle has reduced to h over 2. Since x has crossed out, we divide this by h. Now let's move on and also make a second test. Assuming h approaches to 0, what happened here? For the first term, there's no problem because this term is indivisible and this one is also different. But we know that if h tends to 0 at this sign h over 2, then we're going to have here 0, and sign of 0 is always 0. So when we multiply 0 with this existing term, then we're going to get 0 from the numerator, and we'll have something like this from the numerator. Also, h has tended to 0, we're also going to have some 0 here, and this is not good. This is something we call indeterminate. Now to avoid this, we need to think of something. Now when we multiply the denominator by 2 and we divide by 2, it will solve two things. Firstly, we'll remove our 2 before our sign, and we'll also have another denominator which is similar to what we have here as this angle h over 2. So let's go ahead and do that in our next step here, where we're going to have the derivative of this function from the limit as h tends to 0 will be the same as, so here we still have our negative 2 sine of our angle here x plus h over 2, and we multiply this by sine of h over 2. We'll have to divide this by, now let's multiply 2 by our h here, and we divide this by 2. The denominator will not change anything from this denominator because this one can cancel and we get back our h. So that is good news, but we can now use this trick to make sure that we cancel one of these two with these two here, and we have gotten h over 2, which is similar to what we have here as the angle of sine. And that is another good news. So the next thing we need to do is to write sine h over 2 over this general term here, and we distribute the limit to the two terms. So we have f of x equals to, for the first term, the limit as h tends to 0 of, now this one is negative sine, and the angle still remain x plus h over 2, and we multiply this by also the limit as h tends to 0 of this term, and that is sine of h over 2. Then we divide this by this term here, and that is h over 2. So we'll use another approximation. Here we know for small angles in radian, we can say the limit of h tends to 0 of sine, since I've used h here, so I'll write here h over h. This is equals to 1, because for small angles we know that sine of this angle will approximate to that angle itself for small angle in radian. Now we can use this trick here to make sure that this one vanishes to 1, since we have h over 2 and also here h over 2, similar to our h and h as this rule says. So let's move on and continue with our solution. Therefore, rewriting it, we'll have derivative as the limit of h tends to 0. Our first term, let's first maintain it intact, and we have negative sine of into bracket x plus h over 2. At this time we say term is 1 from what we have just talked about here. Now let's do our final test to see whether we are getting something sensible. Now here, if our h tends to 0, meaning when we place 0 here, we'll have 0 divided by 2, and that is 0. So 0 plus x will remain as x. We'll have negative sign of x. When we multiply by 1, it will be the same thing. Therefore, that brings us to our answer. The derivative of cosine x is simply negative sine x, as we have seen from our formula sheet. If you have watched up to this time, thank you very much, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in my next upcoming video.